Rising, thank you for joining me. This is your monthly astrology forecast as well as tarot forecast with me, Anushka. Now if you want to skip along to the tarot section of your reading, you're more than welcome to, and I will pop a timestamp just below. Okay. Now, I want to just tell some of you guys that I'm really happy to be back. I've had about 4 or 5 months off. I've been dealing with the retrogrades in my own different way as well, so I had to take some time out and make a lot of adjustments in my life in terms of the direction that I'm heading in. So it's really lovely to be back. I'm also going to be releasing the yearlies over the next few weeks, so keep an eye out for those, okay? And that's going to be a real mixture of numerology, tarot, and astrology. I'm going to throw it all in, and I'm not even going to separate the reading from like, this is astrology, this is tarot, this is numerology. I'm going to mix it all in one big basket, and we're just going to riff and see how it goes, and I'm really looking forward to doing this for you. Okay, so first of all, congratulations for making it through the retro year, okay? I don't know how many planets we had to contend with this year going retrograde. It just seemed like it was constant, and now we're going to the end of that. Of course, you know, as we start this month, Mercury is still retrograde until the 6th. Okay, so we still have one planet retrograding, but the way I see it, you know, especially for you, Taurus, you know, Mercury is retrograde in your 7th house, where Venus was retrograde as well. And this is very much a case of, in my view anyway, very much a case of, yeah, this is very much a case of, you know, Mercury, the mental processes, the kind of the mental faculties, having to now integrate what has been learned on an emotional level by Venus. So you know there have been lessons. There have been lessons as it relates to love. There have been lessons as it relates to partnership for you, very much so. And so now you're coming to this place where, okay, the lessons have been learned on an emotional level, on a body level, and now the mind is trying to make sense of this. And the mind takes a while to catch up, the cognitive mind. And so perhaps there's kind of been a reviewing of things with partners, in love, in partnership. Maybe some misunderstandings, maybe some things to revisit. Perhaps even someone has come back. Somebody who, if you were single and you were dating, maybe you met someone you really liked and they just kind of went off the radar, and maybe with Mercury retrograde, it actually brought them back and you're able to kind of pick up where you left off type thing. But certainly love, relationships, one-to-one, even business partnerships have been in this process of review and looking at, you know, is this who I want to be with? Is this who I want to partner with? How do I really feel? What is involved in being in a close, loving relationship? Does it bring up fears? Are there insecurities for me to address? That kind of thing. And with Uranus in opposition to Venus for a lot of this retrograde season, as she's kind of been going back and forth, there has been a need for change, or a need for progression, a need for excitement for those of you who are in relationships. Perhaps you've felt the desire to bring something new, a new quality into your relationship, you know. Perhaps even, you know, there's been a certain instability. Perhaps certain things have happened, events have triggered a little bit of upset and put you in this kind of unstable place, your relationship. Hopefully that's now starting to resolve itself and kind of come to a close. Now, if you're single, this could very well have seen you attracting unusual partners, people who may be very different to you in age, or different in culture, different in beliefs, just unusual and just strange, you know, that kind of thing. And maybe you've been seeking a lot more freedom in your relationships as well, you know, emotional freedom. You don't want to maybe have that typical monogamous, yes, relationship. I think that's how you say it. It went for a minute, you know. So this has definitely been a period of learning and growth as it relates to love, you know, for you. It has been for all of us, but especially for you, seeing as this is opposing your ascendant. So this is about other people in your relationships, your one-to-one relationships with them. Okay. Now, on the whole, I see this month as being a great time for healing and looking at group dynamics and relationships of all kinds, be they to do with your networks, your friendship groups, your intimate relationships, partnerships, and siblings. There is real healing energy here to be had, and I feel like there might be opportunities for you to make amends if need be with certain people, to come to new emotional understandings and maybe have some very poignant conversations that really get to the crux of the matter, that are really quite raw and vulnerable, but yet in a space of love and contained in a space of love where you're both able to heal and move on, and then finish the year off in a really lovely way. So we've come off of Jupiter is finally in Sagittarius, yay, everyone's loving that, okay. And so for you, Jupiter rules your 8th house, and we're coming off of the back of Jupiter having had a very close, dancing very close to the Sun. This was at the end of November, so this is known to be a really fruitful, lucky, abundant time. So hopefully you had some sort of gift or break of luck or something lovely happen for you. Now it could have been anything from a sudden windfall, a sudden inheritance, quite a large, because it's Jupiter, a large gift of money, a large gift of property even, or maybe a huge opportunity to share and investing money or property with somebody, or to manage something which ends up paying off a lot for you. This could also see you with Jupiter traveling through the 8th house, really wanting to expand your knowledge in terms of esotericism and astrology or psychology, wanting to explore things that are to do with things that are more hidden, okay? You might get a real passion for learning about these things. Well, it's favored at this time, so go for it. You know, maybe take up a course or find a teacher. Teachers, you know, Jupiter rules teaching, okay? Jupiter involves teaching and philosophy and law. So this would be, if you want to take those practices further, this might be a great time to seek out a spiritual advisor or counselor to work with, or someone who can teach you maybe how to read your own chart, that kind of thing. But certainly we're going to see this area of your life, your 8th house, expanded, okay? So this could see you investing abroad. This could see you and your partner investing in property or businesses abroad. This could see you dealing with people in foreign markets, that kind of thing. It could also see your intimate life, you know, if you are with somebody, really growing, and maybe you become more adventurous in the bedroom together, or you just start to explore each other on a really intimate level that also feels like it gives your relationship another aspect to it, so it grows, okay? Because Jupiter likes to grow things and expand things. Of course, the thing to bear in mind with Jupiter, you know, we all like to talk about him as such a benefic planet, but the thing is, he is a benefic planet. But at the same time, he expands what he touches. So if there are issues there in intimacy, if there are issues there in your own psychological makeup, then don't be surprised if over the course of this next year, they are expanded, okay? They kind of come, they get to such a point where you can't ignore them. Habits that you have that perhaps don't serve you, patterns of thinking, anything like that, neuroses, you know, could really come to light. But don't fear this, okay? Because in it, there's an opportunity for you. It's being shown to you so that you may not overcome it, but ride through it, transcend it is the word I'm looking for. And as a result, become wiser and actually gain from the experience, okay? So that's another possibility as well. We have had Mars now move into your 11th house, okay? So your 11th house is ruled by Pisces. We've got Mars in there, and he's going to be speaking quite closely and talking quite a lot to Neptune in that 11th house of your associates, your network, social media, dreams, hopes, wishes, friendship groups, you know, your tribe as such, and your technology as well. So this could see you perhaps seeking out more spiritual experiences or creative experiences in terms of, you know, the people who you surround yourself with. It could see you kind of drawing in those kinds of people, because Neptune is very creative, very spiritual. At the same time, this could also be a feeling of you know, maybe you have a project or collaboration, or you have your own business that you're wanting to push forward, but Neptune there closely dancing with Mars, it can add a fogginess, and almost like it's almost like, because Mars wants to go like this, it's an arrow. Mars wants to just go for it, it knows where it wants to go. Neptune is more like, oh, okay. So when you mix those two together, you get this kind of, oh, well, which way do I go? And it becomes like, this way, this way, this way. So there could be a feeling of slight haziness in terms of feeling a lack of direction. What I would do is I would tap into the creative energy of this particular aspect and instead of getting caught up in the which direction do I go in, just maybe right now is not the time to know which direction to go in, but just allow your creativity to be sparked and see where that carries you. Allow your maybe spirituality to be sparked, see where that carries you if you're so inclined. Because both planets will square Jupiter in your 8th house. So there is, once again, this is about deeper things, spiritual things, esotericism. So this could be a really good time to connect to groups that are to do with to do with those kinds of subjects, and perhaps you'll find yourself in places and in situations where these topics come up, and maybe it's got something to teach you. Maybe there's a lesson in that. Okay, now your ruling planet is now direct, and so she heads from your 6th house into your 7th house, where the focus is of course going to be on partnership. Okay, so so on the, I think it's on the 6th, is it on the 6th or 7th? Yeah, it's actually quite, no, it's earlier than that. Yeah, around the 2nd of December, 2nd, 3rd, she moves into your 7th house. And the focus is going to be on partnerships, on relationships. This can actually be really good for PR if you have a business. This can be really good for public relations and promoting your business as well. So the thing is though, there's that Uranus opposition. So once again, this is looking for fresh energy. This is instability when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your one-to-one partnerships. The best way this can be channeled is innovation, originality, spontaneity, creative spontaneity. I would say the worst way that this can be channeled, or it's hard to channel Uranus because we never know what we're going to get with it quite often, because he just whacks us over the head. We think we know what's coming and he does something completely different. I suppose the worst case scenario, this could see major upsets in your love life, which need review. But what I do like about this is that around this time we have a grand trine happening. Okay, and this is in, where are we? This is in water signs. Okay, so it's a grand trine in water, so it's emotional, it's emotional. And for you, it's between your 7th house, your 11th house, and your 3rd house. So although there may be some seesawing in your relationship, or maybe in your partnerships, and that kind of thing, there is an opportunity with Chiron there, which is about healing. It's a planet of healing, deep healing, real soul healing. Making a trine to Mercury in that 7th house of partnership, also making a trine to the North Node in Cancer, which is about nurturing. There is this element of healing and forgiveness and nurturing. So perhaps you are able to contend with the seesawing or the unexpected things that might be going on in your relationships by actually communicating with each other openly and honestly and in a warm and, like I said before, vulnerable manner. And there is opportunity for real forgiveness and real understanding of a partner or even a sibling, if it pertains to siblings. At this time, I think there's real opportunity in December for you to heal a lot of relationships if they need it, and if they don't need it, maybe even take them to a deeper level where you're able to share your vulnerabilities, you're able to really open up to one another, and really, show some depth. Okay, we have a new moon on the 8th of December, and for you this new moon is going to be in Capricorn, for you this new moon is going to be in Sagittarius, in that 8th house. So I love this, especially after what I just said, because once again, the 8th house is intimacy. So bringing fresh energy to areas of intimacy, fresh energy to areas of anything that is shared. So it's opportunity here for healing, definitely. And for you, it's about relationships this month, I really feel, Taurus. So there's real opportunities for fresh starts. So perhaps you've had to go through a real hard time in love, be it if you're on the dating scene or if you're in if you're partnered up. Perhaps it was even to do with your family or groups of friends that you belong to. But now there's an opportunity to put the past in the past and to heal and to move forward. Okay, which I really, really love. And with Mars as well being in Neptune, in that 11th house of not in Neptune, Mars being in Pisces, sorry. There's this feeling of, Pisces is a very karmic sign, and it's almost as though we are shedding some karmic baggage. Okay, so it's this is a winter where if you live in the northern hemisphere. If you live in the southern, it's summer. But this is a time where we're really being asked to just let go. We've done all the work, we've learnt the lessons. Now it's about forgiveness, love, and letting go, so that we may all be free, so we may all release some of that karma and start the new year positively and with a clean slate, which I really, really like. Okay, on the 22nd is when we have the full moon, okay, and that's going to be in Cancer in your 3rd house. This full moon is sextile Uranus, and Uranus is in your, in your 12th house. So, full moon here, this is again speaking to me of healing, maybe even unexpected messages through siblings. Maybe there could be some amazing news, there could be an addition to the family. Or there could also be, if you had, and I don't want to be, you know, fatalistic, but I mean, if you have had a relative who has been ill and suffering, and perhaps that's what that Uranus opposing Venus between, you know, in your 7th house has been about. Maybe you've had a relative who you had to attend to and their health's been up and down, or somebody who's very ill and who's on their way out of this particular world. Perhaps around here you hear news that something has finally come to a culmination. Now, whether that means they leave this sphere or that they've healed and recovered, I don't know. But Uranus will bring a surprise element, and I definitely see, if you know, if there is anyone who's sick, who's part of the family or who's a loved one, there could be some interesting news around them that takes you quite by surprise. But there will be I feel like if it were a passing on to another plane, then there'd almost be this feeling of, okay, thank God they're not suffering anymore type thing. Of course, this isn't going to be the case for all of you, so please don't, you know, please don't get scared. But there could be some sort of culmination to do with something like that. Okay. At the same time, this could also see your psychic awareness really increased around the 22nd. You know, your dreams could be really giving you incredible messages about where you are. You know, really communicating to you truths about the universe and you know, out-of-body experiences. That kind of stuff is kind of possible at this time. With that full moon, it could be a heightened emotional experience. On the 23rd, we have an energy that I really, really love, and this is Venus and Neptune and because Neptune's in your 11th, yeah, Venus, Neptune, and where are we? The moon are all going to make a grand trine. So this is a really lovely healing energy for you. Once again, it's in those houses. You know, it's between the 7th, the 11th, and the 3rd. There's a lot of love to be had. There's a lot of love to be had as we get towards the end of this month. Boxing Day is another lovely, harmonious day. And on the 30th, we have another trine between Mars, Venus, and the North Node. That's your 11th, 7th, and 3rd again. So this is people, relatives, your neighborhood, family, the groups you belong to, intimacy. I really feel you're going to be feeling the love. And whatever difficulties you've gone through this year, I really feel there'll be the sense of, okay, it was for a reason. It was all for a reason, I get it now, and I accept that. I can feel the love, I can feel the healing that's happened as a result. And I'm ready to move forward into the new year with more faith in love, with more faith in the universe as well, and in humanity and in the people who I've surrounded myself with. Perhaps you've let go of some unnecessary or some friendships or relationships that have really held you down, and now you're feeling like, okay, I'm in the space of love and positivity. So I really, really love that. So yeah, I think we're going to finish with a fantastic, I think it's going to be a lovely end to the year, a really healing one for all of us, and I'm really looking forward to doing your yearlies as well, I've got to be honest. So anyway, thank you so much for listening to your astrology, Taurus, and now we're going to go on to tarot. Hello Taurus, thank you for joining me for the tarot portion of your reading. As I was meditating on your sign, I had some messages come to me. That it might be good for you guys to look into some mantras this month, some healing mantras, and one in particular that came to mind was the Om Hreem Shreem mantra. Now look it up if you like. It's OM HREEM SHREEM, and this is a root mantra. And when you repeat it do your research on it, look it up so that you get your facts completely straight. But basically it helps to calm the nervous system. It helps to bring enlightenment, to slow down the heart rate, to slow down the mind, to connect you to the other realms and to bring a sense of inner peace. But it also attracts abundance, both physical and non-physical abundance, and healing and well-being. And for some reason I'm feeling like that would be a really, I'm getting the message that you should look into that, and you might find that that would be a really positive thing for you guys in this month of December. I know there's a lot of healing energy going on in your astrology, so perhaps look into that mantra, and if it suits and fits, perhaps try repeating that first thing in the morning a few times and seeing how it makes you feel and if it makes a difference to you. Okay, let's get on with your tarot. Right, so what do we have in store for Taurus for the month of December 2018? Okay, I feel very, very calm after meditating on your sign, I must say. Justice. Wow, okay, lovely. So you're coming in with the Justice card straight off the bat. So where there has been imbalance, and we were talking a lot about your relationships in your astrology, where there's been imbalance, where there has been maybe feelings of betrayal, feelings of hurt, we're going to see a rebalance happening. We're going to see justice coming about. Now, this might not just be to do with relationships. This could be to do with work. Whatever it is that you valued, where you feel you perhaps had been undermined, where you had been mistaken, where things had not gone in a way that you perceive to be fair, we're going to see a rectification of these issues. So that's coming in really strong, and I like this because I feel like the month of December, where all of us are going to be closing some doors for good and really opening up onto a new path, which is really lovely. Okay, so what else have we got for you, Taurus? Okay. Right, we're coming in with the Queen of Cups on the reverse. So the Queen of Cups on the reverse is speaking to me of possibly a water sign person. Doesn't necessarily have to be a female, but we're looking at a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces. Okay, now the fact that they're on the reverse is saying this is somebody who maybe is being or has been emotionally unstable, maybe emotionally erratic, maybe acting in a bit of an immature way that perhaps you've had to deal with. A lot of you have been looking at relationships, be they romantic, friendships, business partnerships, and I feel some of you have had to contend with this Queen of Cups, and perhaps this is where this justice situation is going to kind of be where it's going to what it's going to revolve around. Perhaps you've been in a relationship where you have the energy, the emotions haven't been reciprocal. Perhaps they've been behaving erratically, unpredictably, that's the one. And so now you're coming to a place where this is going to be brought to some sort of resolution. Let's find out a little bit more about this Queen of Cups. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got more Cups energy. All right, so we have the 7 here. 7th house, okay, we've been looking at your 7th house, where Venus has been retrograde and she's moving back into. So 7th house, Queen of Cups. I'm seeing that some of you have been dealing with somebody, relationship-wise, who's shown up in maybe has shown up in ways that maybe being very emotionally chaotic, or maybe even emotionally not very demonstrative. You know, maybe they've actually been cold and cut off from you, or seeking love elsewhere, and you're starting to see 7th house relationships. Perhaps the relationship was actually an illusion. Maybe all the things that you thought it was going to bring you, and all the, you know, all the gifts and the love and the plans that you had together, you started to realize it was built on a false premise, and this person wasn't as invested as you'd originally hoped. And so now maybe we're going to start seeing a turnaround in these issues. Now, for those of you where it doesn't pertain to a relationship, this could also be your own emotional energy, you know, because Venus has been working on you. It really has. Venus has been working on you in that area of relationships, as well as your work. But Venus is your ruling sign, and going retrograde, you've had to look at issues of self-worth, self-love. Am I good enough? Some of you may have had to contend with a little bit of depression. And if so, if that was the case, what this says to me is I feel like you're going to start coming out of the illusion of depression, or out of the illusion that you're not good enough, okay? Becoming more emotionally resilient and emotionally stronger as a result. So that is positive. Right, okay, so what else have we got? Let's have a look. The Hanged Man. I kind of like this at the moment for you because there is some slightly hazy energy with Neptune hitting on that Mars in your 11th house. So Neptune can it can leave us feeling a bit foggy and confused in terms of our current direction when he communicates with Mars. So this is saying to you, I think December is a time not so much for action, Taurus, but it's a time for forgiveness, for a rebalancing of the scales, so justice, and for letting things, I think, emotionally come to a close. For those of you who've been through a really hard time recently, I see something drawing to a close, and I don't think it requires too much action on your part because I feel like the universe is taking care of it. So try not to force anything. Try not to force a situation to justice because it's naturally going to go that way. See, Wheel of Fortune, there we go. See, okay, I love this. Yeah. So whatever the situation is that has, and it's affected you emotionally, okay, it's something that you've emotionally invested in. Now it could be a business. Maybe you had a partnership with somebody business-wise that didn't work out so well. I'm seeing it more as an emotional bond, and somebody who you're very close to is what comes across. And in some way there's been some real upset in the dynamic of the relationship, and perhaps it's needed to come to an end. Don't try and force an end. Don't try and force an answer, especially while Mercury is retrograde at the beginning of the month. Just allow it to play out, because the Wheel of Fortune and Justice, let me put these down for a second, you know, this is saying to me that in a sense, words do I want to use? In a sense, yeah, the wheels of fate are not in your control. Allow the universe to let things play out as they will. You've done the work emotionally. You've had to go over some, I feel, perhaps quite challenging and perhaps at times harsh things emotionally, right? And rather than trying to force a closure or force an answer, now is the time to just allow and wait, especially while Mercury is retrograde, and then perhaps have those conversations that are needed. And allow healing to happen and justice to prevail, because your world is starting to open up, okay, on all four corners. Some of you, I think, some of you are releasing a lot of emotional energy. Okay, now this doesn't necessarily have to relate to a relationship, because quite often what happens is we don't realize how much energy we use up just being ourselves, holding on to hurts, wounds, baggage, all those things that cause us to be defensive, all those things that cause us to be on guard, to be anxious, to worry, to have to kind of know exactly what's going on, exactly where we stand, all those things that cause us to do that. We spend a lot of energy holding that stuff. And if we would free up that energy, the amount we could achieve, the amount we could do, the amount we could blossom, the amount of DNA we could trigger and, you know, and turn on within ourselves. That's what I feel is happening here. I feel like there's been this release of emotional baggage for you on a level. I think it relates to your relationships, the past, wounds around friendships, love, intimacy, brothers and sisters, that kind of thing, and how that affects you. And I feel like you're kind of letting go. It's like the baggage is going, and now that energy that was spent, that used to be spent holding that baggage, is being freed up in order for you to start to construct your life in a far different way, and in a way that actually is in keeping with your destiny, which I really love, because the North Node is in Cancer. Cancer is ruled by water, and Cancer is obviously about emotions and our security, our emotional well-being, what makes us feel at home. And this, to me, you know, this is emotions again. So something that was holding you back of fear and anxiety, some sort of baggage, has now been released, or is in the process of being released, so that you can move towards your destiny, okay? And that echoes that North Node in Cancer for the collective, for all of us. So I really, really like that. And for you, I do think that relationships appear possibly highlighted a few of these things. Right, what do we have next? Okay, right, so we have the Six of Wands, sorry, in reverse. So this is typically known as a victory card, okay, in reverse. And I'm seeing, what I'm relating to this to is that Neptune-Mars meet up in your 11th house. So perhaps for some of you, it was around friends. Perhaps there was this feeling of being betrayed by a friend, being fooled by somebody. I'm getting the energy of maybe being fooled and feeling like you've come out not as the victor, but as the, you know, the one who suffered. Maybe feeling like you've been a bit of a fool on some level. I think that this is ultimately what I see here is the ego has taken a bit of a battering and a bit of a bruising. Don't worry, Taurus. We all of our egos have taken a major bruising this year. And, you know, with Mars retrograde, Venus retrograde, it has been hard on all of us. But I don't think you realize, you may not realize right now, the gifts that will come about as a result. This needed to happen in order to break through to a new and more authentic and core you, so that you can access what, you know, your true innate power, right? Let's see what else we've got. So a lot of this is about relationships, love, self-esteem. Some of it is about pride. Some of it is about ego, right? 5th house, okay. Cups again, right? We're looking at cups again. 5th house is romance, right? Okay. Now, usually this is, you know, this is not being able to see what you have left, the gifts have been, you know, okay, you're just crying over spilt milk, essentially. You know, 3 cups have tipped, but I can't see the 2 behind you, which is still standing. But the fact this is on the reverse is good. So this is telling me you're going to come out of this feeling of feeling fooled, betrayed, taken advantage of, maybe having been on a roller coaster with someone, and maybe feeling like you need to force the close, or force an answer, force the closure. Now you're realizing, do you know what? I feel like as the month goes on, you're going to see that there is no point. There's no point even, you know, sometimes we will have those relationships that, maybe not all of us, but I know I for one have had one. One of those relationships where you just never get closure. The person never actually owns up or answers to what they did or what you perceive they did, okay? They're never truly honest with you, and it can be really hard to move on and gain closure when that happens. And I feel in a sense like perhaps that's what you've been going through. Someone not really being clear or ever really saying to you, listen, I'm sorry, yes, I did do that, or yeah, you know, almost like they're gaslighting you. But with this in reverse, this tells me that as we go on through the month, and this is part of the process, you know, I said in your astrology, I feel this month is a lot about forgiveness, moving on, releasing karma, letting things go so that you can move on lighter with more energy available to you. It's almost like as you move on, as you continue in the month, you go, you know what? Bollocks to your apology. I'm not going to stand here and wait for your apology. I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. I'm not going to wait for your permission for me to have emotional closure. I'm going to move on. I'm going to take my 2 cups and I'm going to choose to move on myself, because if I wait for you, I could be waiting around for absolutely ever. And I love it. And as a result, you start looking to the future. You start looking to, and yes, 3 of Wands, yes. This is goals. This is looking afar. This is the year ahead. This is a 3, so this is creative energy. This is inspiring energy. I'm pretty sure that next year, let me see if I'm right. Sorry, just doing a calculation in my head. No. Yeah, next year is a 3-year in numerology, okay? I'll go more into this when I do your yearly, but next year is a number 3 year, so it means it's about creativity, inspiration, it's about collaboration, it's about enthusiasm, it's about buoyancy. So this is lovely. This is telling me you're freeing up that emotional energy in December. You're saying, you know what? This is done. I have to allow myself my own closure, and it's okay if my ego feels a little bit bruised and battered and feels like I was foolish for investing in this person or this situation. That's okay. I will allow myself the closure rather than waiting for it, okay? And I will move on and look at the year ahead and make my plans. I have big plans, I have goals, I have visions. I may want to travel far and wide. I also love the fact that the North Node is in your 3rd house, so 3s, okay? 3s are coming up here for you. So the North Node is in your 3rd house, so this is telling me travel, communication, business enterprises, your neighborhoods, family, those kinds of things. Look ahead, be progressive. Those kinds of things are highlighted, and you're looking at what plans can I make. This is really lovely energy, okay? So you see, whereas I feel like at the beginning of the month, you might feel like you need to force something, like you need to force an answer out of someone or force something to a close. You don't need to. it's a natural process. It will happen naturally. I think for you, you will almost be doing everyone this beautiful honor. Say somebody's wronged you, okay? Say someone's betrayed or hurt you, or the company you work for have passed you for promotion various times and they just not treated you well. I feel like you have an incredible power this month, Taurus, and that is that the power to forgive someone or forgive a situation without them even having to ask for forgiveness, to resolve their guilt, their blame, and to resolve your own hurt in the process. And even if it's a silent forgiveness that you do in your mind and in your heart, in fact, sometimes those are the most powerful. What you're doing is you're creating a closure and ending that karma and those karmic ties for all of you involved. And as a result of you not needing to confront them or needing to force a sorry out of them, it's almost like you actually, it's like you heal them without them knowing it, you know? You do them a service. So I feel like Taurus can play a really spiritually high-handed role this month in the art of forgiveness and healing, in not only in their lives but also in others. And sometimes when we forgive others, we do it more for them than for us. Do you know what I mean? A lot of the time when people say sorry, they say sorry more for them, because they want their own guilt, they want their own hurt as a result of hurting you to be healed. I thought, you know, we've all had it when people have said sorry to us and about something that we're really not bothered about. We go, oh, it's fine. Honestly, it's fine. But actually what they're saying is, please just witness the fact that I need healing. I need to heal right now because I feel like somehow I betrayed myself and my own better nature. Okay, so that is a really interesting one. Lovely. Okay, we're going to finish on that. So the High Priestess. Finishing on the High Priestess there. Beautiful psychic energy, right? So where is the moon in December? So the moon is going to be new moon in your 8th house. Lovely. That is a spiritual place for you. That is a psychic place for you. That is a very deep place for you. And then a full moon in your 3rd house. Okay, lovely. So bringing healing, intuition, higher knowledge, going beyond the veil. It's almost like, Taurus, I feel this month, you have the ability to go beyond our usual human egos of what is right, what is wrong, of blame and all those kinds of things, and guilt. And to actually go beyond that and to bring back healing, love, absolution. I might be using the wrong word there, but anyway, healing, love, resolution perhaps is better, from a higher dimension. I feel you have this gift. Something's you can tap into something. Maybe this is to do with Jupiter moving into that 8th house, expanding your psychic awareness. But you will bring justice for a way that benefits you and everybody else. I really feel like forgiveness and centering yourself first and foremost, and grounding yourself first and foremost, perhaps in meditation, in mantra, just whatever it takes to ground you. And then going into that deeper part of your nature, exploring it to bring back forgiveness and closing karmic ties with, ending karmic ties with people. It will allow you to move on and move forward and free up this energy so that you can start off the next year with this fantastic energy here, okay? And the wisdom that that you've gained from your experiences, okay? No longer needing anybody else to give you closure, but deciding, yes, I can move on regardless, and I like this for you. Lovely, Taurus. That's really, really nice. I love that you pulled that 3 like that, you know. It is a 3-year next year. I can't wait to do I'm going to go into numerology a lot next year, so I will be doing lots of videos on that, and I can tell you what your personal numerological year it will be. So those will all be being released soon, so I've got a lot of work to do. I hope you resonated with that, and I hope it brought healing and love, okay? Many thanks, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye, my loves.